All right, positive energy all the time. Good to see you all tonight. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I think I want to start out first by saying, listen, you have to eat right, stay hydrated, and exercise. And the best way to eat is fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices. You have to cut back on processed foods, but you also have to make sure that your sodium intake is down. You have to keep your weight off of you. So you have to make sure your midsection does not have a lot of fat. You can be stupid and let a system that makes money sell you food. Go ahead. Because they're into it for the money. And little do you know that the food you eat, if you go to the very top of those companies and those people, they don't eat that. They don't eat that. So health is wealth. So you got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your wealth. And if you listen to the average person, you're going to be in the hospital like the average person. You're going to be on aspirin. You're going to be on pharmaceuticals. You're going to be just like them. So if you're ever at a relative's house or something and you're trying to eat right and they got something to say, when you go to the bathroom, just open up their medicine cabinet and see what's the results of their practices. Okay? So listen, go subscribe to Vegan Intel if you want to learn something. If not, hey, as my grandma would say, I ain't here to learn you. You got to go learn on your own. Subscribe, get you some knowledge, get some encouragement to take care of yourself. And you can't just sit there and go plant based. You got to work out. You got to move. You got to get that belly off of you. If you want to be like Big Pharaoh, it's still, I'm finna be 70. And like if you're a shorty and you don't be careful, right, and you get to playing, you're gonna get caught with one. I'm just saying, you might get, I know y'all like to grab and slam, so I know y'all, I know y'all like, well, we'll just grab you and slam you. If you look like you grab and slam, how that go. There's other alternatives to these too, You get the, you could get with this or you could get with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pushing violence. I'm just saying if you look like you want to grab and slam, you get the foof up to the whim wham. We could go that way too. Whatever. Shout out to the rack. They say you still be outside? Not a lot. But I do be outside. I do be on the L train. Oh, for those of you that live in Chicago, New York, and stuff like that, let's say the L train is coming this way. Young ladies, and you got to take the L train. The L train, let's say it's coming this way. What you want to do, you want to go on the platform and you want to stand all the way down. So when it stops, you get on the first car, right? You want to get on the first car, especially ladies, but anybody don't want problems. And you want to sit close to the conductor, okay? Because we're having crazy people get on the trains like they're crazy, but they're never going to get on the first car because the first car the conductor got a phone for the police. The conductor can also stop the train and lock the doors and make them stay trapped till the police come. So for my people out there, New York, any city where you do have L trains, Chicago, listen, especially if you're older or you just don't want the problems, make sure you walk all the way down so when the train stops, you can get on the first car. All the problems is going to be towards the middle and the back of the L train, right? So that's what's up. I don't know everything, but I know I'm talking about, all right? So tonight, we're going to talk about delineation, okay? Black, global attitudes towards delineation. A lot of people don't like us identifying ourselves as foundational Black Americans. Now, to the young people, y'all young people got to step y'all games up. You know what I'm saying? I don't, I don't know why you young people can't keep up with the other young people. What do I mean by that? When I judge the young generation, I don't judge them based on me being 68. If you're 25, I judge you based on when I was 25. And you ain't popping like me when I was 25. Y'all got to step it up. You're supposed to be able to match or outdo my generation when we was 25. The generation before me, the generation before that. Y'all can't lack up. So all you young people, y'all supposed to be identifying as foundational Black Americans. That's our history. This is a fact. Don't fight it. Get y'all young asses in line. You see, when I was coming up, there was the transition, right? I was born in 1958. There was a transition. My mother and father come from Alabama. So there was a transition between colored people and Negro. They made the transition from colored and Negro to Black. They were not Black Americans. They were just Black. Black Americans or African Americans, I should say. They never called ourselves African Americans. We called ourselves Black. African American was a news term. I'm going to repeat this because young people don't know. The term African American was not used by Black people outside in their homes, in churches. We did not identify as Black American. We identified as Black. The term Black American is a news term used by CBS, ABC, NBC, WGN for television. It was a term used to be able to categorize us with other nationality and races. What do I mean by that? Let's say the news is doing a story on cuisine, and they say, come down to the Chicago Cuisine Fair, where we got, right? They would say Chinese American food, Italian Americans, Greek Americans, Polish Americans. Now, they couldn't identify us with any country. See, Poland is a country. Greece is a country, right? Italy is a country. So they call them Italian Americans, Polish Americans, because back then, all of the whites were still dealing with their ethnicity, like where they're from. So back then, you had Greek town, Little Italy, right? This is before everybody started blending. See, before the college era, because the college era is not till the 80s, in the 60s and 70s, everybody was not mixed yet. So the whites they were still living like old immigrants. It was not close, it was still close to when all the whites was coming here, immigrating here. So if you was a Polish, you lived in a Polish neighborhood. If you was Greek, you lived in a Greek neighborhood, right? So they couldn't call the black ones like Nigerian Americans or something. So they called us African Americans because nobody could really identify where all of these black people actually really come from. Okay, that's where the term African American was a media term. But for me and us outside, and my mom and daddy outside, we was not African Americans. We was black. I'm 1968, James Brown. What? Say it loud. I'm what? I'm black and I'm proud. Period. He didn't say I'm black American and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. 1968, I was 10 years old. How old was you? Oh, you wasn't born. Okay. Shh. Okay, you wasn't born. Okay. Shh. Hush. Hush. Okay? I'm saying that to say we adapted. Negro, colored, black, that'll work. Why are we identifying ourselves as foundational black Americans? Because over the years, black immigrants have came and they are black. If they become a citizen, they are technically now a black American. So if a Nigerian is black and then they become a citizen, technically they're a black American. Foundational black American identifies your ancestors, meaning that your mama and daddy, your grandmama, your granddaddy, y'all been here. Y'all been here. A black woman designed the flag and all that. You designed, Benjamin Banneker designed and built Washington, D.C. Your free labor made America the greatest country in the world. If you can have free labor, you're going to do better than Italy. You're going to do better than France. You're going to do better than Poland. So if you got these black people here picking the number one crop in the world, which is cotton, you're going to be the richest nation in the world. Okay? These are just facts. All right? Because cotton was king, if you don't know. And so what they don't want to tell you young people is that your ancestors, for free, got the bag for the United States because cotton was king, leader of all. You see this old? Okay, this is old. What does it say? Cotton is what? King, the leader of all, meaning what? The leader of all industries, the biggest bag, cotton. The biggest bag, the biggest money, cotton, that your relatives picked for free. Okay? Now, if you're young, shut up and listen. Okay? If you're young, shut your ass up. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? You only, listen, your job is to teach the next generation after you. See, my children, their job is to teach the generation after them. They're not supposed to be trying to tell me a goddamn thing. Like they don't know nothing like this when it comes to this. Like you don't know nothing. What year you was born? What year you was born? But you was born in the 90s? All right, tell me what was going on in 1982. You don't even know. So why is you yapping? Like stay in your place and teach, learn, and pass this information to the young generation. You know, it's nothing worse than when I'm talking to a young brother, he keep running his damn mouth, he don't know nothing. He keep running his mouth. You seen a couple of videos and read a couple of books. Boy, you just got outside. You know what I'm saying? So our job is to pass the generation to the next generation. Let me ask you something. Could I tell my mom and daddy anything? My daddy born 1931. My mama born 1935. I'm just asking, what the hell could I tell them? What do I know about the 40s and the 50s? I'm born in 1958, right? You don't even really know nothing till you're 10 years old. And so your birthday don't mean nothing. If I'm born in 1958, I don't know nothing till 1968. Because you don't know nothing until 10 years after you're born. You're a baby riding a tricycle. What the hell do you know? So when it comes to your birthday for knowledge, that starts at 10 years old. That starts at 10 years old. So now your job is to suck up game from the elders, add your new information, right? So the elders got to understand, like me, if you young and you talking to me about new stuff, then I gotta listen. Because that's your expertise, right? So everybody gotta listen according to the knowledge generationally. So a young person, they gonna show me, OG, you got an internet, gotta go like this. OG, the new stuff. Yes, that's what I listen to. I do listen to young people, but they gotta be talking about young stuff. They can't tell me nothing older than them. I don't give a damn how many books they read. Shut your little ass up. You out of line. You can't tell me nothing about no black history or none of that. None of that. You can only tell me your generation, and then your generation is going to be older history for the next young people. So you're supposed to be sucking up game from us so that you could tell your sons and daughters the real facts. Now you running your mouth trying to compete with the elders, which you're bogus because a lot of elders won't even talk to your stupid ass. Facts. When I was coming up, there's limited elders that would even tell you anything. So anytime somebody older trying to tell you something, that's a blessing. Because when you walk around outside, ain't nobody going to tell you nothing. Facts. You ain't going to find no lot of people like me that going to tell you nothing. Really, people your own age will find a good job or something popping and won't even tell you. People won't even tell you what's popping out here. They keep the knowledge to themselves. That's just a little game for the young generation because y'all got to do better. Y'all got to suck up this knowledge so you can pass it down to your children. Y'all got to learn to teach downward. Don't be trying to teach up. Don't be trying to teach up. Don't be trying to tell your uncle nothing. Shut up and listen. Because let me tell you something. I'm 68. And if I bump into a dude 75, he could be an alcoholic. But dude's got some knowledge. Trust me. So I'm going to sit there and listen to it because that's going to be my OG. And he knows stuff before I was born. And so it don't matter he a drunk. That don't limit knowledge and information by judging his character. Dude still knows some stuff. Trust me. So when they older than you, suck it up. Suck it up. I'm telling you. When you get around, when you younger, and you go to a family event, and your older aunties and uncles is there, be quiet. Shut y'all asses up. Let them talk. You're supposed to be trying to make them talk more and more and more. Exhibit A. My parents used to take me down to Alabama. We would go to Alabama, and when we get to Birmingham, that's where the partying would be at. That's where the card playing and stuff would be at. And so we go to my aunt or my great aunt Polly's house, and all of the elders would come, and they'd be playing cards and shit. I was always built different. So all my little cousins and them, they outside running around playing. So they say, go out there and play with the kids. So I go play with the kids. And as soon as the kids slip for 1 minute, I dip off. And I would go in the house with the elders. Now, when I would go to elders, I'll sit next to like an old dude, but I gotta be quiet. Because if I say something or start acting goofy and my mama pay me attention and I'm there, she's gonna say, boy, go outside with the kids. So how I learned a lot is I would go sit around the elders and I wouldn't say nothing, not a word. I would just listen and listen and listen and listen. I paid so much attention that by the time I was like 12 years old, I could play beer whist just like them, better than them. I'd be begging my daddy, Daddy, could I play? He like, nah, boy, go sit down. Because I ain't really understand. I wanted to play. I know I wanted to play with the OGs. My dad like, boy, go sit down. One time he let me play though, and I won. And the way beer whist goes, when you win, you keep playing. So when me and my daddy won, I'm like, next. My dad said, ain't finna be no next. Boy, go play. I was really angry because I'm like, oh, y'all cheating me? Okay, because I'm a baby. I don't get to stay on the table till I lose because I'm supposed to stay there till I lose. But my daddy, he was smart. He was like, boy, go in the kids' space. I let you play, but you can't sit up here. They drinking and everything. Go sit your ass down. So that's some game to the younger people. You always listen up and you always teach down. And then when you teach down, what the people younger than you gotta do? They gotta shut up. If you 39, 40, and you talking to somebody 20, they gotta shut up. Especially if it's something that's knowledge that you built over the years. Now, if it's some new stuff, y'all could be even. They could even be ahead of you. But basically, like knowledge about how to live, how to conduct yourself, you got to always listen up. All right? Got that out the way. Now, tonight we talking about Blacks globally, delineated foundation of Black Americans. Now, people are saying, because now we're foundational Black Americans, other Blacks are saying we are separating ourselves. We shouldn't separate ourselves. We should be Black. Pan-Africans say we should be Black. We should be Black. Well, the fact is, globally, we have never been Black. Black from around the world have always delineated us. Always. When my friend went to Kenya, she was a young Rasta woman. This was in the 80s. The Kenyans did not accept her as Black or no African. They did not accept her as no Kenyan or nothing to do with them. They told her, they called her Ferengi. They called her Ferengi. And so when I see these Blacks that's not FBA complain and talk about we pushing division, when have you ever pushed unity? Jamaicans, you never included us. We was Yankees. Even the Rastas that taught Black unity called us Yankees. They didn't really believe we was the same. The Black Rasta Jamaicans didn't even really identify as Africans. They always identified as Jamaicans. They talked that, yeah, Rastaman, Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, Iman. But when the rubber meets the road, me as a yard man. Jamaica. Now, when the rubber hits the road, they Jamaicans. They is not no African Rastas. That's a fact. That's a fact. So that's why I put together the concept Thug House Rasta. Because I ain't one of y'all Rastas. And with the Jamaican Rastas, they had division. So some of them would wear red, gold, and green with the red on the bottom. The Nyabingi would wear green, gold, red with the red on the top because they say the red should be on the top because we at war. Well, I'm not Jamaican. So I used to get my hat made red, gold, green, green, gold, red. I would get both flags on mine because I'm not y'all. I'm a comedic. I'm a comedic roster. I'm coming with. I'm adapting knowledge from ancient Kemet. I'm not adapting no knowledge from Ethiopia. And I was already this. I already had my dreadlocks. Well, I met a roster. I met y'all had a roster, right? You know what I'm saying? I never, you know what I'm saying? Well, they have changed over the years, Bongo. So over the years, the younger Jamaicans, they're not really standing on the elder information. So that's a good point. So when you let me clarify that. When you talk about roster, the real knowledge is only from the ones up to like 1979, 80. Once you get to 1979 and 80, the ones that was teaching it authentically and real black unity got overpowered by the next ones that start coming in the 80s. The ones that came in the 70s didn't come for economical advantages. They came because their parents made them come. So they came as teens and stuff. Their parents came up here and they just came up here. So they were sticking with the authentic Rasta concept of Bongo. But when you get to 79 and 80, those rosters was reggaeites. They wasn't inspired by Garvey and Haile Selassie and black culture. They was inspired by reggae. They was inspired by Bob Marley, Steel Pulse. They seen money in reggae. They the Sunsplash rosters. Them ones was fraudulent. They was just into it for the reggae. The ones before them came into it authentically. So this is why once you start getting to the 80s, unless you talk to an elder, you wasn't going to get no real Rasta concept. So that's why this generation don't like Rasta because they reggaeites. They not really Rastas. That's the reggae group. Now let me explain that. Rasta was hated in Jamaica. My brethren couldn't even go to town. They had to stay in the hills. If they go to town, they were unalive them. Like Roscoe Brown. He couldn't go to town. They had to hide in the bushes in the hills. Once the Jamaicans seen Sunsplash was making money, the Jamaicans started talking Rasta, growing dreadlocks. Now, Jamaicans hated Rasta. Jamaicans hated Rastas. Jamaicans didn't start liking Rastas until Sunsplash and a lot of white peoples was coming bringing money to Jamaica. That's when all Jamaicans started talking about, yeah, soon start talking Rasta talk because Jamaicans did not speak Rasta dialect. Jamaicans didn't say soon come, yes, yeah, me brethren, for whatever, big up yourself. None of that. Jamaicans didn't say none of that. Right? And so it was people that became Rasta for reggae. So by the time you start getting into the 80s, that's when you didn't really see no real Rastas. Those is reggaeites. That's when they had the renter dread. And the renter dread was a brother in Jamaica with dreadlocks that would do anything with the white tourist women for money. So the white women can come to Jamaica and basically rent a dreadlock. So rent a dread started In the 80s, they was doing it for the reggae. So the same people that hated Rasta became Rasta. The same Jamaicans that hated Rasta became Rasta. And they was fraudulent. And once they got in the culture, what did they do? They got in the culture, they sung reggae for a while, and then they turned to what? Dancehall. That's why reggae died. Because they got into reggae and it really wasn't from the heart. They wasn't pushing the culture. So then they turned to jump up and sit up and jump up and go be trouble and sizzler and them all them is fakes. Them not no rosters like that. They start, oh, I'm 12 tribe, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. They wasn't black Africans no more. They got head wraps on. You never see no rosters with no head wraps on in the late 70s unless they was really a priest. You couldn't just put a head wrap on if you wasn't priest, like a priest. You just couldn't put no head wrap on and just be no Rasta. We used to separate. Oh, this brother's a Levite. You had to be a Levite. You had to consider yourself a Levite to have a head wrap on. All of us didn't wrap our heads because we ain't Levites. Some of us is soldiers. Some of us is militants. So we going like this. You can't have no nation and everybody's a church boy. Who gonna fight? So they sold out the revolutionary and everybody wanted to be a fake holy man. That's why I don't like head wraps. Right? So my point is that the culture changed over the years. So when I get back to foundational Black Americans, this is a new identity. This is something we've always done. So we had to change our identities once we realized other people could call themselves Black Americans. A Nigerian can come over here, become an American citizen, and call himself a Black American because technically he's Black and he's an American citizen. So in order to separate ourselves, we are now foundational Black Americans. So now a Black person say, well, why would you want to separate yourself? Because we're the only ones owed reparations. And to get reparations is automatically a separation. You're not owed reparations. If I'm owed reparations and you're from Trinidad and you're not owed reparations and you wasn't here, you can't show your family here picking cotton here, then the United States government owes you nothing. You can't say, well, I worked on the sugar cane. You did. So you're owed reparations in the Caribbean. Go get your reparations where your ancestors worked for free, and whatever country made money off of your ancestors, that's where you have to go get your money. So if you got to file your reparations claim in Jamaica and we got to file our reparations claim in America, we separated. What are you talking about? That's separation. Duh, stupid. Duh. You're not me. Yeah, so you know who I am there. You know Chucky, Conquering Lion, Boof, and all them. All my brethren now, right? You know them. And then you know that they got deported. You know Chucky got deported from Conquering Lion. You know Boof got deported, the drum and keyboard player. You know a lot of them got deported. You know a lot of them end up on substance abuse. You know that. You understand? So if you came here from Nigeria and you looked at me as a Black American, if you came here from Jamaica and you looked at me as a Yankee or a Black American, if you came from somewhere and you looked at us as Black Americans or Yankees or whatever, ain't that delineation? Ain't that delineation? If black immigrants came here and looked at me different, is that not delineation? Do Nigerians not delineate us? Nigerians delineate us. If a Nigerian come here and don't consider me them, that is delineation. If you come from Jamaica and you consider yourself a Jamaican and you consider me not, that's delineation. You are delineating me by separating yourself. Once you separate, if this is black people, if you separate yourself and leave me, is that not delineation? What are Jamaicans, have the Jamaicans and Africans been practicing delineation ever since they've been coming to this country? By them delineating themselves, they automatically delineated us. So all this talk about me separating, you came here separated. What is you talking about? How can an African tell us anything about separation when the Africans ain't even Africans? How you a Nigerian and he a Ghanaian, you Fulani, you Zulu? How you gonna tell us not to delineate? And y'all got 1,000 different tribes and you got 400 different tribes in Nigeria. How can somebody that delineate themselves turn around and say, Foundation Black Americans is pushing separation? And from day one, when you blacks came to America, you were separated. Y'all some liars. Blacks from other countries came here separated, came here standing on their lineage. They never were black. You Trinidadians, you Jamaicans, you Ghanaians, you Ethiopians, all y'all never were black. Y'all wasn't never even Africans. Black immigrants that came to the United States were never Africans. Never. They were never Africans. So for them to be talking on us, standing on our business, they out of line. So now you a Haitian, you stayed a Haitian. And Trump throw your Haitian ass out. Bye. Me and you, we not brothers. You Haitian. I'm not Haitian. I don't give a damn about you. I wouldn't care if they threw all of you out. Because you're not my brother. You've never been my brother. We got nothing in common. Let's keep it like that. Let's keep it like that. Young foundational Black Americans, don't let these Black immigrants fool you. We have never been united. They never came with no intentions of unity. Never, none of them. Not a one. Not a one. Africa got all the natural resources, right? Name me one time any African president or ruler sent us a quarter. Name me one time an African country sent Black Americans a damn quarter. I can show you a lot of times we send money around the world for hurricanes and stuff, but show me one time any Black country ever gave foundational Black Americans a goddamn quarter. How much money has Nigeria sent us a piece of bubble gum? What about Ghana? What about Ethiopia? What about South Africa? The Congo? Liberia? The Gambia? Have they sent us one quarter? Do I think they should pay reparations? I think one thing at a time. If we pick cotton for the United States, The United States got to pay first. The United States got to pay. I don't feel that Africans got to pay because Africans, they make no money. So reparations based off of who made the free money. That's what reparations based off of who made the free money, who got paid. Africa didn't get paid for slavery. They didn't get paid for slavery. These are the people that got paid for slavery. So like J.P. Morgan, Chase, Bank of America, Wachovia, these are the people still circulating that money. It's not like we asking for some money from way back. They take that money and they are circulating that money. They are profiting off of that free labor. America became number one because of free labor. If you're in England, you're in Spain, you're in Portugal, and you white in America, and everybody else got to pay for their labor, but you got a whole bunch of black people doing labor for you for free, which country is going to do the best? How is Spain going to keep up with America when America got thousands of slaves? Because remind you, America, slavery was bred. They breeded slaves. See, they got you thinking, oh, they went and got all the slaves. No, once you listen, if I go to Africa and I get some chickens and I get 1,000 hens and 300 roosters, do I got to go back and get some more chickens, or is them roosters going to get them hens pregnant and they're going to have a bunch of baby chickens? Which one is cheaper? Which is cheaper, to go back and forth and get chickens, or to breed them right here and have way more chickens than I could go get? See, I don't want to tell you that. It's cheaper to breed them. As fast as a black woman would have a baby in slavery, they would get her pregnant right away. So the black woman is having babies less than 2 years. In less than 2 years, she's having babies twice in less than 2 years. And imagine the twins and the triplets. So if you constantly get a woman pregnant, how many babies could you have in 4 years? You can have 8 years worth of babies in 4 years, because you're not letting her body. They was getting black women pregnant until they passed away from getting pregnant too close together. The Europeans was having sex with the black slave women, and when they had a baby, they was putting them babies into slavery. So if the baby was half white and black, they put that baby in slavery too, because one drop of blood, you were N-word. So the slave owners sold their own seed into slavery that he had by black women. And y'all think he wasn't sleeping with them black? It's a known fact that white women began to poison slave owners because slave owners was falling in love with some of the black slaves and spending more time with the black slave than his own wife. That's a fact. That's why so many white women was for abolishing slavery, because the white man was getting so much pleasure from having sex with these big old juicy black women that he didn't even want to sleep with his woman no more. And she became jealous. And they would fall in love and then move her into the house. She don't got pick cotton no more. She don't got pick cotton no more. She got new dresses, new clothes. She got a nice room in the master's house. She living big. All she got to do is walk around and cook and take care of his kids. She don't got to do nothing. And his wife better not say nothing to her either. That's his property. You shut up and leave Ethel alone. Yeah, don't say nothing to Ethel. Good morning, Ethel, he say in the morning. Good morning, sir, she would say. Oh, my soul, they don't want to tell you. Hey, I'm going to tell you. Okay? So why I'm talking about this is because I'm seeing a lot of blacks from other countries trying to say FBA is pushing separation, as if you can't have separation if you were never united. So I asked the brother from Nigeria, all right, well, if you say we pushing separations, give me the, because I missed the unity. Give me the dates we was unified, because you can't. If you ain't like this, how could you separate? This is to black immigrants. If black Americans if we ain't like this, how could we separate? Tell me when we've been like this. All you black immigrants, all you Africans, tell me when Africans and foundational black, tell me when we was unified, because I must have missed that part. Yeah, I must have missed that. Because as foundational black Americans, the only people we've ever been united with is white people. We got a relationship with white people. We don't got no relationship with other black people. We got white friends. We like a lot of white people. That's a fact. I know y'all don't want to hear that. We like a lot of white people. We like a lot of white people. They try to push racism like it's all white people. No, we like a lot of white people, and a lot of white people like us. And it's a fact. We mixing together, we having babies together, all that. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to hear it. I know, but I'm the realest alive. I had white girlfriends that if I said get them, they shall get you. They will unalive you if I told them to. That's a fact. They ain't give a damn. They love me. They ain't give a damn if I was blue. They ain't care like that. Everybody ain't on colorism like that. Everybody ain't on that like that. That's not realistic. These are facts. I had a brother say, man, you ain't supposed to sleep with them. I said, if I'm supposed to sleep with them, I'd have a round penis and she'd have a triangle coochie. I wouldn't be able to go in there. But whatever. You sound crazy. You crazy. You talking stupid. Yeah, you talking crazy. You're not realistic. You can't breed out no race. You're talking stupid. You can't breed out black people. It's not going to happen. You can't breed out white people. So if you're white with a black person, you cannot breed out your race. Because everybody in your race is not going to be with no damn black person. And everybody black ain't going to be with no white person. So it's like an unrealistic, stupid ass fear. You can't breed out. Africa can't breed out Europe or vice versa. Like that can't happen. That's never going to happen. Because most people are going to be with somebody real close to them. And so if you're in a black city and you see a fine chick, you're not gonna pass her up because she black looking for a white one. I guess if you're stupid, I don't know. That's why a lot of times when they go to school, they end up in mixed couples because they right there. She right there. He right there. You're a black dude. She white. She right there. She popping. Because you're around her. Now, if you're in Chicago and you downtown, the black chick is right there. You right there. You're gonna get together because she right there. So most couples is because the person's right there. You met the person right there. In the real world, I don't know. Maybe y'all in a make believe world. I mean, God don't want us to mix, but God don't care. God don't get involved with that kind of stuff. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. If you look at the Creator, He know you can't mix. He know you can't mix. God know you can't mix. Well, I'm talking world global now. God know you can't mix. God know that all them black people in Brazil, and they ain't gonna be able to find no white. Hey, y'all think a billion black people in Africa is gonna find somebody? Come on, man. Let's just be realistic. Come on, yeah, come on. Y'all think a billion? So y'all think a Nigerian is gonna be like, no, I don't want the beautiful Nigerian one right here. I'm gonna go to Italy and find a white lady. Then he get to Italy, the white lady don't want you necessarily. Duh, because people only like you if they like you. They ain't gonna like you because come on. The relationships is based on if you even like that person. Duh. You're not going to just mix like that. You're going to mix if you like the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just go sleep with a white woman. I got to like her. What? All right. So let's keep it where it makes some sense. My point of this discussion is they mad over delineation, but the Africans delineated us. The African brothers and sisters and the brothers and sisters in the Caribbean are the first people that delineated foundational black Americans. This is a fact. Jamaicans delineated us in the 80s. Am I lying? When a Jamaican Rasta called me a Yankee, ain't that delineation? Ain't he saying you from a different lineage? You not me. You's a Yankee boy. And me is a Jamaican boy and thing. Me a Jamaican man. You are Yankee. If an African say you Ferengi, that's not delineation. I'm just asking. Because people are saying that FBA is pushing separation. I'm trying to figure out how a Nigerian or African, I'm trying to figure out how African that got a billion tribes can twist their mouth up to say we pushing separation. How can we push separation to some Africans that got a billion tribes? Why do they act like they represent unity? Listen, when it comes to representing unity, if you make a list, Africans, you're at the bottom. Let me repeat. If you put a list of who's for unity the most and who's for division the most, Africans is at the bottom. Africa represents division to the 100th power. I'm tripping on Africans talking about we represent. I'm saying, you know what? Trump, deport him because not only is he a goofy, not only is he a hater, but he's slow. Go back to the slow land. Yeah, go back to where you slow at. This is the African. You're slow. You're slow. It's clearly, if they did come and get slaves, they clearly came and said, give me the fast one, give me fast. Don't give me the slow one. Leave the slow one here. Give me another. It's clear they picked the smart ones and left the dummies. I'm not saying all y'all is dumb. I'm just saying they left a lot of dummies there with y'all. So you smart Africans, they left all the dummies there, obviously. Because how could you be in Africa talk about division with 1,000 million tribes and talk about FBA pushing division? Bruh, what? What? Because you see a lot of Africans say we push a division and black people got to unite. And I'm like, hey, is that you pushing that concept in Africa? I didn't know y'all was pushing that in Africa. Oh, y'all pushing something to Americans that you ain't pushing at home. Think about an African talk about black people united. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. Think about an African talk about black people need to unite. It's like, bro, if you don't shut your stupid ass up, oh, that's all. Are you kidding me? So now we delineating, and a lot of them is trying to say we push a division. I said, man, listen, you got to be kidding me. Boy, you as dumb as hell. Listen, y'all, when it comes to FBA and delineation, do not listen to no Africans. Do not. Don't listen to them because they're going to say anything, okay? Most Africans don't know nothing about Africa. Africans don't study African history. I'm going to give my boy from West Africa over here one day so he can tell y'all. Africans don't know much history like that. They'll go and they'll learn math and science and stuff like that, but Africans don't really know much about Africa. Seriously. Africans don't know much about Africa or their country. They don't study that. They don't teach them that over there. They're under European oppression, right? So they try to do them like they try to do us. So they don't really teach them nothing over there. I'm saying this with respect. They don't know. Look at all these tribes. Why is our delineation a problem for them? Because they looking at the economics and they looking at the economical, what'll happen if they get separated from us. They know we're going to demand certain jobs first. So they see where this is going. They saying like, listen, you can't be hiring other people over foundational Black Americans. You can't be flying nobody in here from Nigeria and giving them our jobs. And we're doing it the right way. We're doing it through social media and through foundational Black America. In South Africa, they doing it with violence. See, South Africans is pushing delineation right now by chasing out other Africans and by hurting Africans. Facts. Tell me that the Zulu are not pushing delineation. They're saying you are Nigerian, go your ass home. You are not Zulu. You are not a South African. And they're doing it with violence. They're doing it with burning down shops and stuff. We're doing it through the government, through reparations, and through how we listed on the government. We want to be listed as Foundation Black America. We don't want to be Black. We don't want to be listed Black with people that don't mess with us. I don't want to be Black with a bunch of people that don't even mess with me. I don't want to be Black. I don't want to be Black like no Jamaican calling me no Yankee or no African that look down on me. I don't want to be listed with him. Separate dude and them. Now, some African gonna say not all of us. Some Jamaican gonna say not all of us. All of y'all went for it. I never seen no movement of Jamaicans say, don't call Black Americans Yankees. I never seen Africans stand up for us in my life. So the ones that didn't do it, when they go to their functions, they accept it. Yeah. The ones that don't do it, they accept it. When it benefit them, they with it. When being a separative African around other Africans benefit them, they with it. When they got to deal with us, all of a sudden, oh no, we all brothers. Get your stinking ass out of here. You was not my brother, bro. How you my brother? Just because you said it out your mouth? Just because you twist your mouth? All right. What have you plugged us with? What have Nigerians plugged us with? Where they plug us in anywhere? Show me an African country that plugged us with some diamonds, some gold, help us open jewelry stores. They got the jewelry, right? They got the gold and the diamond. Show me any African country that said we're gonna help Black Americans get jewelry stores. Because it seemed to me that if I ran Africa and I wanted to help Black Americans based on my natural resources and what could help you the most, I would send you gold and diamonds. Am I not right? Am I not right? If any African country really wanted to help us economically, would they not send us gold and diamonds? Ghana got gold and diamonds. If Ghana really wanted to help the diaspora and really wanted to help us, would not the president come to the president here and say, I'm finna send Black people gold and diamonds? And if the president wasn't for it, they would just send it to us anyway. They would send it to us directly. Contact here. Oh, we're going to send it to you. We're going to send it to you. See what I'm saying? Am I lying? Am I lying? If they wanted to help us, if they had any type of brotherly love or anything, and they sitting on all them natural resources, would not Ghana send us chocolate? Listen, tell me that if Ghana found some Black entrepreneurs over here and sent them chocolate to open up businesses to sell, make candy, cakes, and all that. They got all that cocoa, right? They got all that chocolate. How much chocolate does Ghana sit? Now, Ghana's always begging us to come that way, to bring our money that way. What I want to say to the Ghanaians, F y'all, send something this way or get the hell out the country. Really, we hope Trump deports you. All this one-way affair, one-way love affair, that's not even popping. I'm telling young foundational Black Americans, if Africans don't send us the bag, send us nothing, then the hell with Africa. If Ethiopia don't send us no coffee, Ethiopia. On my soul. For them to deal with you young Black men in the future, they got to send some natural resources. No national resources, no conversation. Period. What, you sitting on all those natural resources. We ain't sitting on no natural resources. We foundational Black Americans. We are American descendants of slavery. Some of us is nationally from this country. Don't get me wrong. Some of us are indigenous, but those indigenous, their country have been taken from them. Their natural resources have been taken from them. So if you respect the indigenous Black Americans as people of color and you want to help them and you want to have any type of camaraderie, send us some natural resources. That's just how I look at it. If you don't send us no natural resources, you ain't nothing to me. That's why I don't really mess with Africa. Africa ain't nothing, man. Africa's nothing. Anytime you sitting on all them natural resources and you're not empowering the Black Brazilians, you ain't sending nothing to the Jamaicans, to the Trinidadians. You're not sending nothing, not just to me. They're supposed to be sending stuff to Jamaica. They supposed to be sending stuff to Trinidad. They supposed to be sending stuff to the Virgin Islands. Am I right? Am I wrong? Africa is supposed to be sending stuff to the other black people around the world. If you sitting on all of this wealth, why isn't the diaspora benefiting from you? Listen, Ghana could clean up. Ghana ain't got to. Why would Ghana have to take in some Haitians when Ghana could send Haitians the bag? Ghana could send Haitians gold, diamonds, all chocolate. Ghana could build an economical Haiti by just sending natural resources. That's it. That's it. Ghana could send a few troops. All the Africans send a few troops, stop the stuff, send the natural resources, have the troops there so they could build a infrastructure and then leave. Am I lying? Cannot the Africans send some troops to various black places where black people live and then send natural resources and be there for them to set up their businesses and then import, export, and can't they put the diaspora up on the bag? Look. So you telling me all these black people send all these natural resources and they can't send no black people in the diaspora nothing? I'm just asking. Let's be real. I'm just asking. So I never liked it because I feel like Africa is the mother, the big homie. I never liked it that everybody telling us to help the big homie. Like what? But they ain't telling the big homie to help the little homies. Come on, man. The Haitians want to come in and put demands on us, but the Haitians ain't putting no demands on Africa. Why the Haitians ain't pressuring Africa? Y'all look like Africans. No, everybody put the pressure on the slave that was the deepest in slavery, and that's us and our ancestors. Even if you was a Native American, you was the deepest under being conquered. You got conquered harder than anybody because America's a country and Africa's a continent. So the black people over here went through the worst. They keep talking about the Holocaust. Even the transportation over here, they don't even know how many blacks passed away in the ocean just on the voyage over there. Just the brothers and sisters in Africa, all that's connected. Foundational Black Americans, we connected to the slaves that lost their life, not to the blacks that sold the slaves. We're not connected to the blacks' death. We're connected to the brothers and sisters from Africa that lost their life. So when they say we need to be connected to Africa, we definitely connected to slavery. That's what reparations is all about. And a lot of Africans were slaves and a lot of black Native Americans were slaves. Because the reason slavery was so able to happen, because they made sure they put different groups into slavery. I can't believe none of these scholars ain't teaching y'all the facts. That slavery was able to happen because the different people they put together couldn't communicate. So if you took a black Moor and put him in slavery with a black Nigerian and a black Ghanaian and a black from this tribe and that tribe, none of them could talk to each other. And there's proof. Because the biggest slave revolt that almost worked happened. Why? They made a mistake. Look up the history. And they sent too many blacks that spoke the same language. And they almost got all the way free. Look it up. Look up the biggest slave rebellion, and they're going to show you it happened because they made a mistake. This is American history. They made a mistake, and they sent too many blacks from the same group to this place where they had slaves. And then they got a loose, and they went and they freed all. They started freeing all of the other slaves in the Carolinas. Yeah, they made a mistake, and they sent too many blacks that could talk the same. And what the blacks got slick, they knew that they was dividing them on language, so they stopped talking, right? They stopped talking, right? Because the blacks say, oh, they splitting us up when we different. Don't let them know we different, y'all. Don't let them know. Make them think we all the same. So they ran a game on the white slave owners and fooled them to make them think they was all different. Y'all act like we speak different languages. Do not let them know. And they sent all of them to one in the Carolinas. They damn near freed the whole South. They damn near freed the whole South because they made that mistake. Because they was, like a lot of brothers say, they was already here. Yes, you was already here, but you went into slavery because you couldn't communicate with the brother from Central Africa or Liberia, or you couldn't communicate. They put you in slavery. Because slavery was based on those that had the knowledge, right? Right? Look what you see right there. Cotton. They not showing you in Egypt, it was cotton too. Egypt had all the cotton. West Africa grew hella cotton, right? So if we want to take over the cotton industry, we're going to snatch the people that already know how to grow cotton. Duh. So we the ones taught them how to grow cotton. That's why a lot of us come from Egypt. A lot of us don't come from West Africa. Watch this. Look, I asked, which country in the world is considered to have the best cotton? What did it say? What did it say number one? What did it say? Egypt. Egyptian cotton, grown in the rich Nile Valley, is prized globally for ultra-fine, silky, luxury linen. When Sun Ra went to Egypt, Africa, the Africans told him that 80% of your people come from Egypt. And when the brothers say we the Moors come from Egypt. The Moors are Egyptians. And they didn't separate until they got to beefing with Hannibal over his daughter. And that's when the Moors separated and became the Moors and went all up to Spain. But the Moors was in Hannibal's army. They wasn't Moors yet. And they are all of them was ancient Egyptians, because that whole East Africa was Egyptian, including Ethiopia. Ethiopia was the land, and what y'all call Egypt was like Washington, D.C. This is how white people built Washington, D.C. in the model of Africa. Egypt was Washington, D.C. What happens in Washington, D.C.? Washington, D.C. is where all of the rulers from send representation so you can know what's going on in the whole landmass. Where you think they got the game from? Why you think they got all them Egyptian artifacts in Washington, D.C.? That tall building with the pyramid on the top, that's in Egypt. Egypt was the headquarters politically and militarily where all of the leaders, when you retire, they ain't gonna teach you, ain't gonna learn this. Even black historians ain't gonna teach you this. You're only gonna get this from Big Pharaoh, the District of Columbia. Egypt was a place like, okay, let's say I'm the ruler of a place in South Africa, because a lot of those places, because all of them came from Egypt, the obelisk. So let's say I'm a ruler coming up somewhere in Africa, and I get like the age I am now. At the age I am now, my son gonna take over. So when my son take over, I go to the headquarters, which is Egypt. And so everybody go to Egypt. Now, all of the rulers that passed down their rulership to their sons or their daughters, then you go to Egypt. Now, when you go to Egypt, because Africa is so big, nobody gonna tell you this. Because Africa is so big, we have to figure out a communication way. So instead of having to run all over the country to get help, all you had to do was send word to Egypt. And once you send word to Egypt, all of the kings were there. And all of the kings now could get the word out throughout the continent. Because Egypt had a intercontinental army. They ain't gonna teach you none of this. Even black historians ain't gonna teach you. Big Pharaoh, the only one talking this. So if you was in South Africa, West Africa, you sent troops to Egypt. Everybody had so many troops in Egypt down to Ethiopia, the Nile Valley. That's why they call it what? The Valley of what? The Kings. They don't call it the Valley of the Kings because kings were there and passed away. They call it Valley of the Kings because all the kings went there for retirement. Were like congressmen and senators. And then you had the vice president and the president, the ruler of Upper Egypt, the ruler of Lower Egypt, and then the ruler of both of them. So you had the crown up here, the single crown. Then you had the single crown here. There was two different crowns. Then you had the ruler that had the double crown. Then you had the ruler that had the triple crown. So when you see Haile Selassie with that crown, what they don't tell you, that was the triple crown. They don't tell you that. He didn't have the single crown or the double crown. Emperor Haile Selassie had the triple crown. They don't tell you that. Got together with Nkrumah and started what? The Organization of African Unity, which is what Kemet was. Kemet was the Organization of African Unity. See, it's all in the history, but they don't want to tell you. That's what Nkrumah and Haile Selassie was doing. They was putting it back the way it was. So the ruler in Nigeria, when he get a certain age, he go to Kemet. All of them, when they get a certain age, they let their sons roll. And then guys would ride horses back and forth or travel back and forth like senators and congressmen. They got that whole thing from Africa. Facts, Al-Kebulon. The whole governments of the world, they got from the brothers and sisters in the motherland set up governments. This is a fact. That's where they got it from. Yeah, it was Kemet. That's what Washington, D.C. is set up the same way. Because the mother was Ethiopia, and Kemet was the son. The highest spot was Ethiopia. That was the holy spot. Right? Like you got religious and you got secular. You got, And Egypt was the secular one, business, agriculture, war. And Ethiopia was the holy one, connected to the Most High. That's why if you look at Ethiopia, why is all the religions in Ethiopia? Islam is in Ethiopia, right? Judaism is in Ethiopia, Christianity in Ethiopia. The oldest Bible in the world, Ethiopia. Everything that Europeans learned about Christianity, they learned from Ethiopia. So Ethiopia was a holy place, and Egypt was the Washington, D.C. When Mary was threatened, because that's a good point. Here's Egypt and here's Israel. Go look at the map. It's not like Israel's right here. Here's Egypt, here's Israel. They were all connected. Africa was not a continent. A continent is a body of land surrounded by water. Naturally, Africa is not a continent. I'm going to repeat. Africa is not a continent naturally because Africa was not surrounded by water. Get your scholar, tell him, come get this work. Africa didn't get surrounded by water until the white man built the Suez Canal. If you take away the Suez Canal, Africa's connected to Israel and Saudi Arabia. And what's the holy places? Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, and Israel was all connected and was all black. Look at Africa. Africa is not a continent. So when you take away the Suez Canal and you see that Mary fled with the baby to Egypt, that's right there. So when you see that Joseph became the ruler in Egypt and his brothers and them came down and didn't recognize him, that's because it's right across, it's right down the street. It's right there. And then when they started going west, right, they built the biggest military in Nigeria. This was before the white man came west and confused them. So all the black folks mostly lived on the east in Africa, okay? Black folks didn't live in Central Africa and West Africa because we come from Atlantis. We don't even come from Africa, but that's a whole nother story. But all the black folks, when you start talking about Africa, they all lived on the east. Africa was not a place for human beings. Africa was a wildlife sanctuary. So if you know anything about ancient Africa, you couldn't live in the center part. You couldn't live in the wildebeest migration. See, if you go look right now, let me see if I can find it. You couldn't live there, but they unalived a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? But in ancient times, right? You think you could have lived in a pathway? You couldn't live, man, listen. In ancient times, you could not live in Africa, okay? Now they talking about they sub-Saharan. No, they was over the whole place. They was over the whole place. They lying to y'all. The whole Africa was an animal sanctuary. Look at these animals. You could not live in a way. Okay? There was billions of zebras. Okay? A lion pride wasn't this. A lion pride might be 2,000 lions. We talking ancient times. right? Africa was an animal sanctuary. Then blacks from the East, they went across to Nigeria. Go watch Ghana Queen Mother. She show you. So then blacks migrated and went west when they got so far. Some went to Senegal, some went to the Gambia, some went to Nigeria, here, there. Once they made it west for political reasons, they began to send for troops to come. And Nigeria was like the main fortress to protect the continent on West Africa. That's why so many Nigerians. The reason so many Nigerians was the number one war zone to make sure nobody could invade the continent. Because you got to understand, they was living and they had leaderships and they were thinking continentally. They wasn't thinking like they trying to show y'all now. When you go way back, the brothers and sisters in Africa was thinking continentally because they had to protect their borders. They couldn't just let nobody come on those ships, because if a bunch of ships come to West Africa and they stack up troops in West Africa, they're going to begin to what? Attack y'all all the way across. So if you even look at the Berlin Conference, right? They didn't attack from West Africa. They didn't attack from East Africa. They attacked around the whole Africa. They had a Berlin Conference and say, you invade South Africa. You invade Southeast Africa. You invade Southwest Africa. You invade Northeast Africa. You invade Northwest Africa. And you come down from the top. And we'll take everything and we'll bring it back to Europe and we'll divide it up when we get back to Europe. Because they couldn't win no other kind of way. So they had the Berlin Conference and said the only way we're going to be able to beat them, we're going to have to all get together, go steal everything you can steal, bring it back to Europe, and we'll trade up here. And then they begin to, and that's when the West Africans and Nigerian stuff said, oh, you want some guns? Start trading with the Portuguese. The Portuguese come down, get everything they want. The West Africans and Nigeria and the West Africans say, we got slaves. You want slaves? We sell you some of our enemies. The Portuguese like, nah, we don't want no damn slaves. The West Africans like, try some. But this is the Berlin Conference where they said, we got to stop fighting against each other here in Europe and get together and go take all that stuff down there. They got all the wealth down there in Africa. That's when they made peace in Europe. This is the original NATO. This is the original European Union. Where they got together and say, you know what? Instead of us going down there fighting over that stuff from them black people, let's just go take it all and bring it up here and then we'll trade. These is facts. Ain't nobody going to teach you this in no school because the schools is baby. I'm first generation knowledge. Y'all getting a new first generation knowledge. They wasn't teaching us none of that when we went to school. They wasn't teaching none of that. They wasn't teaching none of this. They didn't want you to know none of this. Brothers like me, we went and found out. We went and found out on our own. School wasn't going to tell me none of this. I ain't get this from school. I got this in my 20s. I had to go get it myself. They came with the Gatling gun because they couldn't beat you with hand-to-hand combat. They couldn't beat you with hand-to-hand combat. And they lying on the West Africans. They lying on the West Africans. Okay, we're going to get to that. The West Africans did not sell their own people. That's a lie. There it is, the Berlin Conference, where they got together and planned how they could carve up Africa. Here we go, right here. Now, let me talk on behalf of the West Africans. They had me thinking that Africans sold their people into slavery. That's what I thought. That's what I thought all the way up. Like this knowledge I'm giving you now, I wasn't even teaching this when I went live. This is new knowledge from me. This is an upgrade on what I was teaching. So when you go back and watch my old knowledge and you watch my new, you'll see the upgrades. I kept looking and I said, oh, they lying. The West Africans did not sell their own people into slavery. That's a lie. The people they sold at that time was not their people. Africa's big. If I'm going to war with you, you're not my people. If I'm warring with a different tribe and I sell them into slavery, you misspeaking when you say I sold my own people. No, I sold my enemy. The Africans did not sell their own people. They was not the same people. They sold their enemy. If a Crip sell a blood, you can't say the Crip sold his own people. That's a blood. That's not my people, cuz. That's not my people, cuz. You see how they run a game on us? They sold the people they was fighting against. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. No, the 7-year period didn't go for blacks. That was for whites. That was for indentured servants. Indentured servants went in 7 years. Black slavery was not connected to indentured service. That's a good question. I'm going to get into that. Black slavery was not connected to indentured service. Indentured service was based on we all under God, right, G-Rock? We all under God. And according to God's laws, according to law, we can only hold you as an indentured servant for 7 years. White people went to Africa and said, black people ain't people. So once they went to Europe and made us not be humans, they say they not humans, so we don't have to respect them according to the Bible. So first they went and they legally dehumanized us. And that's why slavery was sanctioned. Because they went to the Pope, they went to their religions, and then they made blacks not human. So once you're not human, you ain't an indentured servant. Only a human can be an indentured servant. You're an animal. So when they had blacks here in America, you know, the women had their babies in the barn. And you know, when you got sick, right? You know, they used to have veterinarians take care of the slave. Did you know that? Do you know if you're a foundational Black American, do you know your ancestors, if they got sick, they had animal doctors treat them? Do you know a lot of them babies was born in a barn? Yeah, you didn't get to see no. So because they had animal doctors, so blacks at that time, right? Blacks at that time began to what? Secretly learn medicine, secretly learn herbs, secretly become people to deliver babies. So the black women learned how to deliver their own babies, how to treat themselves. And that's where black medicine in the U.S. come from. They began to learn the medicine from the black Native Americans because black Native Americans was in slavery too. If you was black, they catching your ass, all that. No, I wasn't no slave. My daddy and them was indigenous. You a fool. My relatives is Sioux. My great granddaddy My granddad on my mama's side is Sioux and African, and they was in slavery. So all that, no, the only Indian natives that wasn't in slavery was the five ones that sold out to the whites. Look it up. It was five Indian nations that sold out everybody. And you gotta understand, Indians ain't Indians. No such thing as Indians. That's how they lying to you too. What they call Indians ain't Indians. These are different people from different parts in the world. And some of them people you call Indians was from the north. They was white. So when you start talking about Native Americans, they ain't even Native Americans. What they call Native Americans are indigenous nomadic people. They was nomadic. They wasn't even from here. Some of them came, some of them was Incas, some of them was Mayans, some of them was Aztecs, some of them was Eskimos, some of them was European. Okay? Facts. Some of them was Siberians. Exactly. Would you tell them? So that's why they was fighting. Because when I was growing up, I used to wonder why the Indians fighting each other. It wasn't until I started studying, like, oh, they ain't no damn Indians. A Comanche is a Comanche. A Comanche is not a Sioux. A Sioux is not a Mohawk. No, these are totally different people from different places in the world. How could a Native American back then on East America, on the shores, how would they even know a Native American in Montana? You didn't have trains. You didn't have buses. You didn't have no way to go across the country. So how they going to know each other in ancient times before you got planes and buses and cars? If your ass is in Massachusetts, you probably don't know everybody in Massachusetts. That's within maybe a 50-mile radius. Once you get past a 50-mile radius, you don't know who out there. Think about it. A horse can only go so far before they're going to fall out. You can see in the cowboy pictures, the horse goes so far and pass away, and the cowboy out there trying to figure out what he's going to do. Two dudes on the horse, his horse die. The other one have to get it back on the back of the other horse. They got to go find some horses. So they got us thinking like in ancient time, all them people know each other. See how they ran a game on us? But when you think about it, you're like, man, some native tribe in Florida, how they gonna know some people in Illinois with no trains, buses, and planes, and all you guys are horse? You don't know them people like that. When you start putting together, you're like, you know what? They ran a bunch of nonsense on us. They showed us old stories, but had us interpret the old stories based on how we live now. So we're looking on old stories, and then we come to conclusions based on how we live now. But once we really think about how they lived then, it don't make no sense no more. Because you're like, oh, they couldn't even do all that. So yeah, they was fighting. They ain't even know each other. And they was probably fighting because you right here and they right here. And a drought come. And both of y'all got to start moving, looking for another place that's plush where all your people can survive. Because you got teepees because you're nomadic, right? That show you that those people was immigrants on the move. Because if they were stationary, they wouldn't have teepees. Teepees show you they was transient. Because if they wasn't transient, they would live in clay caves or in structures. So the fact when you look at the Native Americans in America that had teepees, that mean they was transient. They had to have something they could fold up and carry over here, fold up and carry over there. So now if they on the move and this group over here and this group over there, and they think it might be good land here and they get to moving and bump heads, they get to fighting because you don't know them. You don't know them. So when boom, we Apache and we run into Comanche, we don't know y'all. We might be ancient Incas, Y'all might be ancient Mayans. We don't know y'all. We not Indians. But I used to think, why the Indians fighting each other? Because they didn't tell us. They not Indians, bro. They not the same people. That's why they fighting. That's quick backstory so you know what's going on. So when you start looking at delineation, it's the same thing. We a different group. It's the same thing what I just pointed out. We're a different group. We're not connected with the other blacks like that. We're not connected with the Caribbean. We're not connected with blacks in Africa, nothing. We don't really know nothing about them. We are our own species. We foundational black Americans. We've been here how long? Because Africans only been here since the 70s. Don't show me no one African or no one Haitian. I'm talking about when you start talking about groups of people. There was no Africans here. There might have been a African, but I'm talking about Africans. When I was a little boy, there wasn't no Africans here, man. There was no Africans here. There was no Jamaicans here. There was no Haitians here. There was no Trinidadians in the United States. When you go back to the 50s and the 60s, America was white and black. Period. Even when I got to LA in the early 80s, LA was white and black with a sprinkle of Mexicans. There weren't no Mexicans. A sprinkle. LA was black and white. The whole South Central was black. There was no Mexican neighborhoods. I'm going to keep it real. You seen a Mexican here and there. They was just coming. This is when like Reagan and Bush and them and all them was fighting to let them come up. And this when black people started talking, black and brown unity and stood up to stop mistreating the Mexicans and let them come across the border. And black Americans stood up for Mexicans coming across the border. And once they came across the border, the Mexicans was pushing black and brown unity. And once they got their numbers up, then they became haters. They started hating black people, Mexicans. Once Mexicans got their numbers up, they flipped on us. Once they got their numbers up, they flipped on us. Once they got their numbers up. They couldn't even come here until after the civil rights in 1964. And I was here. I was here. So you can't tell me no, I don't talk. I'm not doing jokes and all. If you got jokes and you trolling, if you got jokes and trolling, get some kahunas and come outside and play with people outside. Stop playing with people on the internet. You look weak. You look weak. You're on the internet playing. If you're a man especially. Now, if you're a kid, go ahead and have fun. But if you're like a grown man and you're trolling on the internet, come on, man, get your life together. Get your life together. But yeah, I was in LA at that time when all this transpired. I was there. I was there when black people was fighting for the Mexicans. I was there in LA, a young revolutionary. If you was a troll and you played for me back then, I got on karate shoes and I'm on dummy. So back then we didn't do gunplay or none of that. All my soul was real revolutionaries. Nobody played. Why nobody played with us back then? Like you're on the internet playing, but why you didn't play with me then? Because you really wasn't on that type of time. Yeah, that's me. That's me in the 80s in LA when the Mexicans was trying to get over there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I went to Mexico. I went to Mexico then. I went to Mexico around here, Agua Caliente. And at this time in LA, they was fighting against Mexicans. They didn't want no Mexican. This is when Tom Bradley was the mayor. They had a black mayor in LA. And it wasn't all the Mexicans running around LA. There was a few Mexicans lived out in Compton. Yeah, I remember when that came out. I was in LA. I was in LA when Easy and them broke. Now I don't look like no model with no goddamn army jacket on and no damn karate shoes and no Holly Selassie pants. I don't know what you. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody even had dreadlocks back then. So if you're talking about somebody with dreadlocks in '82, they wouldn't hire you to be no model. So you got to put the time period. You got to look at this. This is a black American with dreadlocks. Dreadlocks wasn't even popular. So back then people would say, what you call that? How you get your hair like that? So you thinking in terms of you looking from nowadays, but you don't know nothing about 1982, Carlton. In 1982, I'm an alien or something. Nobody got no dreadlocks in no 1982, bro. You got to do your history. In 1982, when I walked down the street, people would run behind me. What you call that? How you get your hair like that? Like nobody had dreadlocks at 1982, but like Bob Marley, nobody was outside with dreadlocks. In 1982, if you had dreadlocks and you had Carlton, and you came to a city, people would refer you to the only other person that have dreadlocks. So back in this day, if we come to your city, they're gonna be like, they either gonna say what you call them, or they're gonna say, you need to go meet Abba. Abba got them, and they would take me to Abba. They'll take me to the one brother that got dreadlocks. It might be two or three of them back in those days. So back in those days, if you had dreadlocks, anywhere you went, the people took you to the other brothers that had dreadlocks. It would always be a few of y'all. So we in LA and they see us, they say, y'all need to go to the King's Chamber with King OG. Yeah, they told us, man, y'all need to go to King with King OG. So we went over to King OG in the King's Chamber. Back in those days. Y'all thinking from this point of view. But back then, now if you had dreadlocks, everybody want to know how you get your hair like that. How you get your hair like that. This is early 80s. Dreadlocks didn't get popular till late 80s, 89, 90. KRS-One in there, Yo MTV Rap. Now this is before all that. Cable TV ain't even really popping, to be honest with you. Like Arsenio ain't even popping. Arsenio not popping till I come back. Channel 32 didn't pop until I came back. Like 1987. When they launched Fox. They launched Fox with the Tracy Ullman. You see, I'm giving real here. Tracy Ullman and Arsenio launched Fox. Because you got to understand, them was the small channels. Nobody used, the button, there was two buttons on the TV. And you used to have to turn to UHF, and that was channel 32, 26, and all of them was over there. Nobody watched them. So when you get to the late 80s, they started making them UHF, because you got VHF, they started making the UHF channels mainstream. They broke with real history. I give a lot of different histories when I'm talking. You should watch me. Channel 32 got launched with Arsenio and the Tracy Ullman Show. On the Tracy Ullman Show, she used to have segues with these cartoons. So in between her skits, she would show these cartoons on Tracy Ullman. Those cartoons became The Simpsons. The Simpsons was launched on the Tracy Ullman show. They used to show these little cartoons of Bart in there. We didn't know who the hell they was. The cartoons got so popular, they became The Simpsons. But this is when I get back. When I'm in Hawaii, like 85, 86, they launched Miami Vice, got launched. Miami Vice got launched too when I was in Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? Real history on the side note. So back then, nah, ain't nobody had no dreadlocks. Ain't nobody had no dreadlocks back then, Carlton. Nobody knew what dreadlocks was. Matter of fact, I grew my dreadlocks straight from a Jerry curl. So I had a Jerry curl before this. And I didn't even take the Jerry curl out. I just washed my hair and oiled my scalp and let it nap up. So I went straight from a Jerry because nobody had a Jerry curl when I had it either. When I had a Jerry curl, nobody had a Jerry curl. When I had my Jerry curl, it was like 1977. Nobody had no Jerry curl. Only Hollywood celebrities and models had Jerry curl, and mostly white people was getting Jerry curl. So when I got my Jerry curl, white people was getting it because this is how white girls was able to have body in their hair. They would get a Jerry curl so it would be curly. And then when the white models got it, then the models from Essence Magazine, Ebony and Jet, they started getting it. So when they started getting it in Chicago in 87, they had the Ebony Jet had a beauty shop or did hair for models and shit. So when I got my Jerry curl, I went there. I went where because you know Johnson and Johnson was here. We was in a club with Johnson. Rest in peace, he just passed away. But I know him because we was in this like elite black people club, like middle class to rich black people had an organization. And my parents, it was called the Trees and Twigs. And the trees was the parents and the twigs was the kids. It was a great organization. And they had events for the parents, for the teens, for the middle schoolers, like fourth grade and up, and then for the little kids. So they would have 4 different events for every little age group. And then they would have the family event for the whole family. It was called. You understand? Yeah, back then. You know what I'm saying? It was positive. It was before, some of y'all was born. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really big on jokes and stuff. When I be talking, I don't really be liking jokes too much. Because I believe when brothers come with jokes, I believe you belittle the conversation and you be making the shit like some bozo shit. So like when we be talking real shit and we see you doing jokes on the military point of view, we demote you. You get a demotion because we look at you, oh, you ain't no soldier, you's a fucking bozo. So y'all stop doing the jokes. I know y'all having fun, but stop doing jokes and serious conversations like that because you might not do it at the right time and it make you look like a fool. Because ain't shit really funny and you trying to make something funny when it's not. And then you letting these people give you these little goofy emojis, which make you look more feminine because you trying to post an emoji to try to enhance. You trying to use this to try to enhance your corniness. You know what I'm saying? You use these things to enhance corniness. I don't really like that for soldiers. Like I'm looking for soldiers. And I ain't really for no Europeans making this shit that I don't post. You know, so I don't never see me post this. Because to me, it degrades you as a black man. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't even got no yellow head. We ain't even yellow. So if you want to make somebody be smiling, make a black man. I ain't posting no yellow head smiling. I ain't yellow. You know what I'm saying? On some real, if you want to get real, why y'all keep posting a yellow head that don't represent our people? Who is this yellow head laughing? Like what that got to do with us? So that's what we is, some bozos. But you're a clown? Go join the circus. Well, you're a clown, you're a bozo. I'm just saying. This look like some eighth grade. This look like some eighth grader post. Why am I lying? Do this emoji look something that a grown man would post? I'm just asking. This look like something we're doing like fifth grade, fourth, fifth, sixth grade. This don't even look like nothing I do in high school. This look like some little boy shit. How do you come back after that and be like, have some dignity or be standing on something? Come on, black man, get y'all shit together. You don't never see me post this. I'm just making a point right now. You don't see me be posting no smiley face. Why y'all ain't out and making YouTube get more black emojis? Stand on something. I be joking on people, but I'm not going to post no yellow face with it. You missing my point, Renee. Yeah, I joke on people. I'll tell jokes, but I ain't posting no yellow face with it. So I keep it gangster even with my jokes. I don't need no yellow face to enhance my joke, Renee. When I crack on people, do I ever post a yellow face? Yes or no? Let's just get to that and we're going to move on. Renee, when I be around here telling jokes and cracking jokes, do I ever post a yellow face to enhance my joke? Yes or no? Because you act like you understand what I'm saying. Yes or no? Do I ever try to enhance it? Because I be telling jokes. Do I ever try to enhance it with a cornball ass yellow head? Yes or no, Renee? Because you say I be cracking on people. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the yellow head. Do I ever post a yellow head to enhance my joke? Yes or no? Because you're confusing the people. Yeah, I didn't say don't joke on people. I said don't post that stupid ass yellow head. Let your joke stand on its own. I ain't got no problem with brothers telling jokes. So what we doing? Lack of comprehension? Am I talking about jokes or am I talking about the yellow head? I could have swore, Renee. I posted the yellow head. I said I don't like the yellow head. Now you talking about jokes. What we got? A comprehension problem here? I never said nothing about joking. I don't got no problem with brothers telling jokes and stuff. But tell your joke at the right time, though. I don't, like if I talk about somebody. No, it's not never bad for me to do what the fuck I want to do. You're talking crazy. It's me. It's my channel. I do what I want to do. As far as get upset, listen, you call it get upset, whatever. I call it raising soldiers, okay? Now, you a female. Stay your ass in a female's place. Shut up talking to the general anyway. Go cook or something. You know what I'm saying? I got toxic masculinity. So when I'm talking to a man, shut your ass up anyway. I mean, with all due disrespect. When you see me talking to a soldier, a man, stay your ass in a woman's place. Renee. Because for sure, if you my woman, I'm telling your son the same thing. I'm just saying she a woman. I'm telling the man don't use emoji. She out of order. She out of order. I'm talking to the young soldiers. I'm not talking to you, lady. Of course, you cool with men being feminine. That's a whole nother video. I could do that video, how you sisters is ruining the black man, making him soft. That's a whole nother video. I could, No, you ain't supposed to be really talking to our sons like that, mommy. Let daddy do that. Okay, mommy? Yeah, stay in mommy's place. Stay in mommy's place. So where your man at? He must not be knocking it back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, where your man at? He must not be here. You out of order. You must be single. What time is it? Oh, yeah, it's 12 at night. Okay. Don't make me do you. You supposed to be on your back or you supposed to be, what is you doing? Watching me. I'm just saying. I just get worse. I don't get better. I get real worse. Just leave it alone. And now I got respect for you. Have respect for me. This is a man. You see how I'm dressed? Now, if your son, go teach your son. Teach your son how to act on the internet. Let me help the brothers out. I'm telling this brother, I gave him game. He ain't supposed to be posting no funny face emojis. Let me see who was doing it. Let me go back. It might not be him. Yeah, this brother. I'm telling my man, if you a man, don't post no emojis. Especially for two reasons. Now, that was who? Who posted the first emoji? Whoever it is, oh, this brother right here. Don't post them yellow emojis. First off, I'm going to get back to the subject. First off, we shouldn't even respect the emoji people because they don't respect us as black people. That's the first thing. So I don't like the emoji company. I don't like the emoji company because the emoji company don't never represent us. Am I lying? Listen, when you look at your emojis, do they represent us in any kind of way? Do they got anything to represent us as black people? No. No, nothing is there that represents our culture and our people. Am I lying? That's why the brother we gotta go find a black arm with a muscle. He trying to keep it something that signifies some kind of power. So this is one of the few that, or we'll post a crown, or we'll post a heart, because a heart don't really have no identity. Now you all good. You all good. I'm not tripping on that. I just don't like the emojis. I feel the emojis is racist. I don't like the emojis. I feel the emojis represent Europeans. I don't feel like the emojis represent black people. That's just how I don't like them. That's why I don't use them. I have to pick. Sometimes I use a Star David or I use a 5-point star, but I got to go through a whole lot of emojis to find emojis like this. I use the thumb up. I use the fist. I definitely don't like none of the yellow ones. I don't like the yellow ones. I don't like them. To me, it's like some clown. Like the yellow ones is clowns. So you know if I'm talking serious or even if I'm telling a joke, I just don't like yellow emojis. Black people shouldn't be posting no yellow emojis. The one saluting and all that. Don't nobody want no bozo yellow. How a yellow funny face gonna salute? I'm just saying. How you gonna post a, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna post a yellow head, funny face, goofy shit saluting? How that represent military? Like what? A yellow head salute. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Praying hands work. Anything that represent us some kind of way. You can get melanated options, but are the options in any kind of way positive for us when it's a face? When it's a face, the options is weak. Like even the king, he looked like a little bitch. Y'all like the black king with the crown? Hold on. Let me get it. Hold on. I don't mind getting a little off. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if y'all like this stuff. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm too picky. Let me find the king. Y'all like dude? Because I don't like him. Hold on. Maybe it's just me. I'll admit I'm tripping. I don't like him. Y'all like the king? Where he at? I don't like him. Where he at? I can't find. Y'all like that king? I can't stand him. He looked like a goofy. He don't look like a goofy. The king. He's a good representation of royalty. Hold on. And I'm gonna get back to, don't worry, I'm gonna remember where we at. This is good too though. Y'all gotta learn today. Y'all like the king? I can't stand his ass. To me, symbolism is everything. You never see me, y'all ever see me post that king? I can't stand his ass. He grinning and shit. He looked like he married to Barbie. Like some of my kids, my kids would post his goofy ass. Am I doing too much? I can't even find him. Probably for a reason. Where he at? Where he at? I gotta find him. Cause I gotta make this point. Y'all like that king? Let me find the king and make him black. Cause he said you gotta hold the thing. Let me show you the black king. He look like a goofy. He don't look like no goofy. He look like royalty. Where his ass at? Somebody else post his ass. Post the black king. Post the black king. Oh, nobody listening to you. Your name Finkler. Flinker. Why would I listen to you? Go mind your business. I wouldn't listen to you. You trolling. Somebody post the black king. Oh yeah. What y'all think about him? Hell no. I was born in 1958. Why is he getting upset over emoji? Come on, OG. You was born in 1958. Well, why you mad at why you trying to tell me what to do? You ain't my daddy. Where your kids at? If you was born in 1958, why is you calling me OG first? Because I'm not your OG if you're born in 1958. That's first. That's the first slip. I'm not your OG. If you really born in 1958, you call me OG. That's the problem right there. Yeah, that right there. Your gang. Look, you're slipping on your gang. That don't sound right. You my age and I'm your OG. Okay, that's first. You're not qualified to talk to me right there. Right there. Right there. You got to shut up. Right there. Your whole statement after that is null and void. So for sure, you don't understand what I'm saying. If I'm your OG and we the same age, it's a lot of shit you don't understand. Now, I don't believe that's your name either. That's not your name. Your name is not Mustafa Salam. Your name Gregory Jackson or something. Stop playing with me. Listen to your OG. Shut your ass up and do what your OG tell you to do. Like, shut your ass up, right? Shut your ass up and listen to your OG because I'm not your OG. So, no, I don't like this. Yeah, I ain't your goddamn OG, but I ain't your OG. Yeah, you a troll. Yeah, let me get rid of him. They say you a troll, bro. I gotta get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? Your name, Mustafa. Your name should be Must Stop. Change your name to Must Stop 5929 because you must stop trolling. Okay? And come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. Yeah, he born in 1958, and I'm his OG. But if he was born in 1958, he would know that if I want to hit his OG, he would know what that meant. Because original OG was your mama. Yeah, if he was born in 58, he know that OG is your mama. OG not original gangster. Original OG was your old girl. I'm gonna go ask my old girl or my old bird. We used to call our mama old bird or old girl. You get a little knowledge over here. So if he really born from 1958, he know OG is old girl, not Ice T. Ice T a baby. OG, original gangster. No, OG is Ice T. Mama was the OG. Yeah, OG is your old girl or your old bird. I'm finna go. Hey, you Stu, you want to go downtown? Let me go ask my old bird or my OG. OG was originally your mama. It meant your old girl. All right, for the young people, a little black history. All right. So let's get back to it. You know, I don't mind going all over the place because y'all learn. Like once I see a lesson, I'll stop the other lesson for the lesson because y'all got to learn. You understand? I just don't like the OG, the emojis. I don't like them. I don't like them. And I tell them brothers, you know, like when we talking something serious, or if you're telling a joke, just tell the joke. On the comedy side, right? Let's take it away from being serious. On the comedy side, your comedy's supposed to stand up by itself. Soon as you tell a joke and you try to prop it up with emojis, your ass weak. Your joke's weak and you suck. Then we can talk about comedy. On the comedy side, if you crack over here and you try to make it more funnier by posting funny faces, nigga, you're whack. Your jokes suck. A comedian ain't supposed to have to prop his jokes up. A comedian ain't supposed to tell no joke and then try to prop it up. A comedian not supposed to tell no joke and then you tell a joke and then you do this. On some real stuff, on some comedy. We can talk professional comedy. Real comedy, I'm not supposed to tell a joke and post this. That means your jokes suck. So we can talk about comedy. When we comedians, when we see you do this, it look like you're trying to prop your joke up. But your joke sucks. Because your joke's supposed to be able to stand by itself. So a lot of brothers, you don't be funny and you try to post a bunch of these to try to make it like you funny, trying to get the crowd to laugh with you. See, this means you're trying to prop up the crowd to laugh on some real psychology, like I'm too heavy for y'all. When you tell a joke in the comedian world and you post this, it means you suck, you're not funny. So this means, come on, y'all, laugh. Come on, y'all, laugh with me. Come on, laugh with me. Ain't this funny? That's what it means. And it's like, no, it's not funny. Your mama's lopsided booty is phony. Yeah, your mama eat a lot of pancakes and her booty lopsided. That's how you drop a joke. Hey, your mama booty lopsided because she full of pancakes, grits, and eggs. That's how you drop. That's how you do it. I don't need no emoji. I don't need nothing. All I need is to say your mama's booty is lopsided. Bow. And I let the disc stand by itself. I don't need no emoji or nothing. Yeah, real comedy. We can do that too. I'm really a bona fide comedian. Boy, I wish I'm not posting nothing to prop up my dishes. So if you want to be funny, bro, be funny without that. I'm giving y'all game. I don't know why y'all don't love me, because I'm giving you game. I ain't giving them game. If you want to be funny, right? Should men heart other men or give them a thumbs up? If somebody say something I like, I'll give them a thumbs up. But send you a heart, I told you I got toxic masculinity. If it ain't got no vagina, it ain't getting no heart. You ain't getting a heart. You could be a little girl, I'll give you a heart because I got love for little girls. I'm not giving no little boy no heart. No, I'm not sending no man no heart. I got toxic masculinity. I'm not sending you no heart. No. I just sent my daughter a heart this morning. I sent my stepdaughter a heart. I sent my other daughter a heart when I sent her $300. I sent her a heart with it. Yeah, I send hearts to my daughters or females. Now, I don't send my sons no hearts. I don't send my son no heart. I don't send my sons no emoji. They be like, Daddy, what you on? I ain't on none. What you on? I don't do on some no emoji. All right, Dad, I taught you later. Okay, I'll holler, send. I'll holler, send. I don't send him no emojis. Not my son. Hell no. Emoji. I don't like it. I told you I don't like emojis like that. What the emoji mean? Come on, y'all. Black man, mask it. What we doing? Do not let the internet turn you into a goofy. Okay? All right? Separate yourself from the goofies or the kids, the high school kids. I mean, if you're a high school kid, do what you do. If you're a high school kid, send all the emojis you want. If you're high school, send emoji, do your thing. But if you're a grown ass man, y'all ever notice women don't do emojis? Y'all ever notice the most smiley face is be the men? Women don't really, women just pretty much come over here and say stuff and keep it moving. Because this guy asked me, should men heart other men? I mean, you can heart another man if you go that way. Like if you I support LGBTQ. So if you LGBTQ culture, I ain't against you sending a heart to your boyfriend or your man. I feel like you got the right to be gay if you gay, Carlton. It's not for me to tell you not to be gay. I don't do that. I ain't anti-gay. So if you gay, I support you. I'm not against you, Carlton, if you gay. So yeah, if you gay and you like men, you can send a man a heart if you love that man like that. And I mean that for real. If you love him, if I love the man, I'll send him a heart. But I love women, so I send women a heart. But yeah, Carlton, if you love a man, you can send him a heart. I wouldn't hold it against you. As long as I knew you was gay, I would support it. Send a black heart to a man? No, I'm not sending no man no heart unless I'm gay. I can't tell, nigga. You asking me about hearts and shit. Oh, that's First Timothy and all that. Equal not FDA. What's your name? Thanks God it's over. Hey, listen, get your life together, okay? On phone and grave, okay? I don't know why you sending me all this religious stuff. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I know this: you got a bootleg name, and you probably need to get help because this what you be sitting around thinking about. This nigga be sitting around. Wait a minute, let me try to read it. Black equals colonizer language, giving up birthright like Esau. So he said that's giving up birthright like Esau, like the colonizers. And then he quotes King James. You can't make this up. So he said we shouldn't be following the colonizers, but we definitely should read King James. So we definitely should read King James. I got you. So no white colonizers unless it's King James. If it's King James, what he say about God's legitimate. Got you. Second Timothy, another 2:19, King James again. Okay, so let me get this straight. So we're not doing no colonizers unless it's King James. Because King James was definitely a colonizer. Okay. What did he say? The foundation of God standeth sure, having the seal that the Lord knoweth them that are his, equal not FBA. All right. Okay. Okay. So FBA got your panties all in a bunch, right? Your panties all in a bunch. Right? His panties, I got when we say we foundational Black Americans, his panties get all balled up. And he gonna tell me what King James said. Yeah. And then you don't know if it's a he, you don't know who this is. You know what I'm saying? That might be a Korean midget. I don't know who that is. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. This dude might be a Korean midget that work at the circus. Like, we don't know who that is. Okay, bro, I gotta delete you. I ain't gonna ban you yet. But I don't mess with King James. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even read the King. I read the Gideon. Hey, whoa, where am I? Okay, I don't got it on hand. I don't read the King James version. I read the Gideon. Okay. So I'm going to chop this part out maybe and get back to the conversation. So when you watch the full thing, we'll be back on this. So when you start talking about blacks globally are the main ones that delineated us. That's why I be confused. Oh, yeah, you trolling. Okay. I'll unban you another day. Blacks globally, it's crazy to see blacks globally say we shouldn't delineate when blacks globally are the main ones that delineate us. It's very confusing. Like, I've never seen blacks globally do not promote any type of black unity. Blacks globally promote division. Black Africans don't promote no black unity. Black Africans promote tribalism. They won right now in South Africa, so it's confusing. Blacks in the Caribbean, they don't promote no type of unity. Blacks promote delineation. Tribes are delineation. This would be confusing when I see Africans against FBA with all them tribes. It'd be crazy. And I'm like, do these Africans realize they're delineated to the fifth power? This is why I say education we got to do better with education. You said they want it both ways. I don't think they realize what delineation is. That's what I think. I think a lot of black people around the world do not know what the word delineation means, or to delineate. I don't believe they actually know the real definition. There's no way you can know what it means. There's no way you would be against delineation if you knew what it meant. Delineation means to describe something precisely. Now, you show me where describing something precisely is negative. If describing something precisely is negative, then a Cherokee is negative. Irish is negative. Polish is negative. German is negative. Chinese is negative. Russian is negative. British is negative. Nigerian, negative. Liberian, negative. Ghanaian, negative. Make some kind of sense. These people don't realize they already delineated. You're a Nigerian. You come over here, you're a Haitian. You want me to be a Black American. I don't want to be a Black American. I want to be a foundational Black American. How can you, a Haitian, tell me what to do? Shut your ass up and worry about Haiti. See, if you're not a foundational Black American, shut up and mind whatever you are. Mind whatever you are is business. That's what I'm saying. What are you? Okay, worry about that. That's what you need to focus on. What you are. If I'm a Hebrew Israelite and I identify as a Hebrew Israelite, I am not going to worry about people that call themselves FBA. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, UFBA. I'm going to worry about Hebrew Israelite business. I'm not going to jump over there and say, no, we all Hebrews, bro. If you believe we Hebrews, then be a Hebrew. This whole thing where you want to make somebody else be what you are is whack. Even when it comes to FBA, if you feel you're a Pan-African, then I'm not going to tell you, say you FBA. But I am going to tell you, don't jump your monkey ass in line for reparations. Because reparations is for the people that was in slavery. And you was a Pan-African, so pan your ass to Africa. That's all I'm going to say. Don't flip when the bag comes. That's all. When foundational Black Americans fight for reparations and you never got in the fight and you was too stupid to know delineation is a way to prove who's owed the money, I can't help you. You slow. Because delineation is to prove who is owed the money. Delineation is to say those people that you said picked cotton that was discriminated against before the Civil Rights Bill, that's me. That's delineation, identifying that my parents is the one that couldn't get on the bus. My mom and daddy in Alabama could not get on the bus. My mom and daddy couldn't go and drink off certain water fountains. My mom and daddy couldn't go to certain schools, couldn't go to certain movie theaters, had dogs sick on them. A lot of them got unalive. Delineation shows that's my relatives. My relatives. That my mama and daddy grew up in Alabama. They was born in the 30s. Now, if you're a little boy, stay in the little boy place. If you wasn't in Alabama like Big Pharaoh in the 60s and the 70s, shut up. You might not know nothing. So even my children, when I'm talking this, they got to shut up. They got to shut up. Period. Because my first child was born in the 70s. She don't know nothing. If she born in the 70s, she don't know nothing until she 10. That means she don't know nothing until 1988. She can't tell her daddy nothing. I'm born 1958, and my knowledge started in 1968. Because I don't know nothing at 5 years old, so I can't claim 1958 knowledge, but 1968, I could stand on that. That's me. 1968 till now. How can I have a baby in 1978 that really ain't standing on nothing to 1988? How you going to debate your daddy? If my daddy born in 1931, that means he know what's going on in 1941, right? How can I debate my daddy born in 1941 and I'm born in 1958? I don't know nothing in 1968. I got to shut up and listen to my daddy. What do I know about Alabama in the 40s? So at what point, and my grandmama older than that, at what point can I debate with them? At what point do you realize you might got to shut up and listen to your elders? Because your elders, you're not listening to them just because they're elders. You're listening to them because they seen something you did not see. Duh. It's not just an elder. It's somebody that's seen stuff before you. That ain't even probably was here by the time you got here. This is why elders are so important. Because they're walking history books. They're going to tell me things that how could I know? Let's keep it a billion. Let me ask you something. Keep this real. This my great grandmother. This my mama's grandma. You see, 1876 to 1993. And you see that we was going to Alabama all through the 60s and the 70s. So if I was in Alabama at my granddaddy's house and she was up the road, it's safe to say that I was at this lady's house, that I hung out with this lady. Correct? Because I'm going to Alabama from 2 years old, which is 1960, but I don't really know what's going on to 1968. And it's clear that if she didn't pass away to 1993 and I was down there and my granddaddy lived right up the road from her, this my granddaddy mama, it is clear as a little boy that I sat around with my mother and them at this lady's house. She was well alive, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. If this lady was telling me something, can I debate her? If this lady was giving me information, I'm just asking y'all, if I'm sitting at her house and she talking, should I interrupt at all? One reason I got so much knowledge is because when I would get around elders, you know what I used to say? Nothing. You know why I never used to say nothing? Because I didn't want to break the flow. So once they get to flowing, I'm teaching y'all knowledge. Once they get to flowing, shut the hell up and catch the flow. Catch the flow. This is a fact. These are people I grew up around. Now let's look at the facts. She was born 1876. I was always at her home every summer. Slavery ended 1865. Do the math. 65. Do the math. 75, 76. She was born 11 years after slavery was abolished. So it's safe to say, and you got to understand, everybody didn't know it was abolished, so they were still mistreating them. But it's safe to say that my great-grandmother, if she was born 11 years after slavery, that my great-great-grandmother was a slave. And my great-great-grandfather was a slave. It's safe to say that we ain't talking no. If I met this lady, that means the black people right before I met her was slaves. Is that right or wrong? That meant that when I was a little boy, 10 years old, I met the first free generation. Is that safe to say? And the people I met that was 11 years older than her was in slavery. Is that not correct? So if she born in 1876 and I'm down there in 1970, that means she's 90 years old, something like that. And that means anybody down there that was older than her, when I was a little boy, they was in slavery. So that means when I was a little boy down there in 1963, if I was down there in 1963, that means a lot of black people that I seen was in slavery. Would that not be correct? If my parents was going to Alabama when I was 5 years old, which would be 1963, it's safe to say that there was a lot of people that I was passing that had actually been in slavery. Because if you take 1865, 1865 minus 1963, that's 107 years. Difference between 1856 and 1963. So that means anybody that I met within that 100 years was in slavery. So if I met somebody, all the people that was walking around me when I was a little boy, that's 60 years old, 50 years old and stuff, right? (1856), 1963 minus 50. That's 1913. That's 1913. Minus 70. That's 1893. Minus 80. That's 1883. So if I was in Alabama in 1963, everybody that was 80 years old and older had actually been in slavery. Let that sink in. When my parents was taking me to Alabama in the 60s, anybody around 80 years old had actually been a slave. They were still going around people that was here before slavery was abolished. Anybody that was 11 years older than my grandmother, when we was down there in the early 60s, I was actually walking around people. When I was a kid, there was people that had been in slavery. I'm trying to paint the picture for you so you don't be thinking, oh, no, long time ago. No, people that have, when I was a kid down there, the elders was slaves. And my great grandmother, her son, my grandfather, my grandmother, all of them picked cotton. Mind you, when slavery was over, they didn't tell the slaves. Some people didn't know slavery was over till the 70s. Y'all believe that when slavery was over, they went to all them farms and told them black people slavery over? No. Who did the patrolling to stop slavery? Nobody. Let's be realistic. Who was riding around to tell them slavery was over? Who went up on them farms in the backwoods in Mississippi and Alabama? Who went on them farms and told them black people slavery? Y'all believe the slave owners told them slavery's over? Y'all believe any police went out there to tell them, tell your slaves slavery's over? Black people were still slaves all the way up through the 50s, in some cases the 70s. Watch this. Y'all ain't seen this video where dudes said they didn't know slavery was over? Y'all seen this one right here? American slaves in the 1960s. He said his family didn't even know it was over. American slaves in the 1960s. Go watch it. Go watch it. That man was still a slave in the 60s. Because nobody went and told him none of that. So when we talking reparations, we ain't talking like no long time ago like they trying to fool y'all. We talking about when I was a baby. I'm born in 1958. When I was born in 1958, this man was still a slave. I was born during slavery. And black people were still treated like slaves until 1968 with the civil rights. Before civil rights, you couldn't use a bathroom, you couldn't sit on the bus, you couldn't do nothing. You were still the N-word, and you was not a part of American society at all. They could just pull you out there and unalive you, and you ain't nothing. You're not even a human being. And so a reality is the real slavery didn't end until 1968. Facts. Because if you ain't got no civil rights, you a slave. And then they switched it to the prison system. So slavery is still going on. We ain't never ran, period. We ain't never ran. Black immigrants is runners. Africans is all over in everybody else's country. Tell me I'm lying. Africans is all up in, Africans is professional runners. They all over the world. And then they all over the world, and everywhere they go, are they helping? No, they ruining everywhere they go. What have Haitians done to make America better? Nothing. They made it worse. They ain't bring nothing to the table. And every time you bring that up, they bring up some Haitian back in the 1700s. So you want to come and ruin everything in the 90s and the 2000s. Then when we get on your neck, you want to say, well, back in 1600, DuSable was in Chicago. But DuSable's FBA. All of us come from somewhere else. FBA ain't based on where you come from. FBA is based on how long you've been over here. Duh. So if you're African and you was here and your people was here during the Revolutionary War, during the Civil War, your ass FBA now. Duh. So then I don't even want to debate. Nobody don't even know what FBA is. FBA is tracing lineage back to the start of America, not your DNA bloodline back to creation. FBA is not, hold on. FBA is not based off tracing your bloodline back to creation. FBA is what? Foundational what? Black what? Americans. So foundational Black Americans only goes back to the start of what? America, not to the start of Africa. So they say, well, how are you dealing with Egypt? That's what I'm dealing with back from the beginning of time. I'm Egyptian. I'm Egyptian when you talk about ancient history. But I'm FBA when you talk about the country. Duh. When you talk about the country, I am the ones that been here since the beginning of the country. It's irrelevant where I was at before then. So let's put it like this. Let's say you from Ghana and your people moved to Nigeria. And when your people moved to Nigeria, y'all build some kind of something in Nigeria. And that something takes off and it grows. And 200 years later, that become a big thing. You would be a foundation of that big thing because your family was the ones that built it. It wouldn't have make no difference that you come from Nigeria. The fact is that this new thing that y'all built, your family was there from when it was built. So now you claiming that what you built that's been there for 200 years, not your Nigerian or Ghanaian DNA. So foundational Black American has nothing to do with my DNA. It's foundational Black American. America is just turned 250. So FBA don't go back further than 250 years. Duh. It's not foundational came from Africa. It's foundational Black American, meaning we were the Black people that been here the whole time, regardless where we was from.